seminar, but it was for a while I was thinking about the relationship of the community in Port Jervis. And if you don't know that community, everybody knows each other, and the hospital plays a very important role in the economics of the community. Probably a lot more than you will find in Suffolk and or Waltham. Although I really can't talk to the Waltham campus, but so it's a very powerful economic player in that city. So I thought that maybe we could let the business community, make them aware of this somehow. And not only just the business community, but the community as a whole. And use that as a way to get them involved in our plan giving, okay? And in gifts in general. So I sat down with Tracy, had a little conversation with her. That conversation led to Dr. Lundy. So she hooked me up with Dr. Lundy. I assume you all know Dr. Lundy. He's a cardio guy down in Suffolk. And we played golf last fall, and the conversation was, hey Doc, I hear you have a whole bunch of data on the finances and the impact that the hospital has on the communities that we operate in. And he said, yeah, I do. And I said, well, how'd you like to come up to Port Jervis someday and put on a seminar for us? And so the committee that we organized got Jeff Reilly involved in it, and we came up. We had about 90 people there that night. We had the press there.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. We fed everybody so that they were all fat and happy. And Jeff let everybody know about the kind of things that were going on in the hospital, what we're doing now, what we had been in the past, and where we're going in the future. And then we had some finance people from the hospital as well that night. I don't recall the name of it.
Melinda.
Melinda, yeah.
Our CFO.
And then Dr. Lundy got up, and he had all his slides. And it was really a great presentation, talking about the impact that the hospital has on jobs in the community, the impact that the hospital has in overall economic position of the community, how much money it actually throws into the community, and how that is spent by the various businesses there. And then when that evening was over, we had a list of people. We had sent out invitations to the business community to attend that, as well as community leaders. So we had a lot of the business and community leaders there to attend that. And by the end of the night, we had a list of those people. And the next step in the process is to contact them and to see if we can work on some of the things with them, like we were talking about this morning, approaching them and seeing if they want to become partners with the foundation and the hospital. I think that one interesting point in doing this was that it made them aware of how much they need the hospital. And we need them, but they need the hospital in that community, because without that hospital there, the economics of that community would be probably very unsustainable. And we do have a plan giving committee. The plan giving community is putting together seminars, and it's our intent to invite business leaders in and to have these plan giving seminars, take them through several different processes and show them where they can be, how it will impact their income taxes and their estates. And that's really on for this work.
Kind of look at my role now as significantly changing over the last several months because of my relationship with the foundation board and the community and the things that our foundation are doing to help promote what's going on through the hospital and trying to get the word out into the community. And I kind of look at it as in two kind of concepts, kind of what we were talking about earlier today, is winners and transformation. And I think that the message that I'm trying to send out there is kind of twofold. There's an interior message that I'm responsible for in our hospitals to try to drive the clinical transformation, to convince the physicians and the staff and the patients that we're the best. that we provide the best care, that we're doing the best in clinical transformation, that we are transforming the services that we provide to the community and convincing the people that are working in our organization that they're working for the best hospital in the area, that the services they provide are the best, that they are dedicated to transforming the care that they're providing at the bedside to the best care that can be provided. And then the second message is the message out into the community. And like anything else, you know, a basketball team that just won the national championship, you know, very probably sparsely known, but now everybody's going to want to have a hat, and everybody wants to affiliate with the winner. You know, they're going to go out and spend, you know, the company is going to make millions of dollars selling T-shirts and hats over the next 12 months because, you know, this team was a champion and the winner. And that's the kind of concept that I'm trying to drive home in our community, is that we are the best in our community. And through the support that we're getting from the foundation and from the community and from Secours, we're able to invest in the best technology that's available. And I keep telling that message over and over in our community, is that you don't have to travel to New York City to get, you know, testing done. You have the best technology that's available in your own backyard. And through the clinical transformation things that are happening in the hospital, you also have the best quality of care in the community. It's just a step above everybody else. And if you look at the data, which really continues to amaze me, is that Secours Community Hospital, out of the 3 hospitals in Charity right now, has the best clinical statistics out of all 3 hospitals. Their patient satisfaction scores are driving up to where they're very close to St. Anthony's. If you know Secours Charity, St. Anthony's was always this gem hospital that had the best patient satisfaction, and now all of a sudden Secours Community Hospital is like right on their doorstep. So how do I get that message out to the community about this great clinical transformation that has occurred and continuing, and the great investments that we've made in the technology at the hospital through support from the community and through support from the foundation and through Secours? And so these sessions that I've been doing, where I get an opportunity to have that the business seminar, and to go talk to the local Rotaries and any other organizations that'll tolerate me for 30 minutes bragging about how great we are, it sends a very clear message to the community that not only are we here to stay, that, you know, we have a long-term commitment to the community, but we're the best that they can get right here in their own backyard. And the part that amazes me is that as I've been doing this now for about 6-8 months, I guess, we've been going out in the community and talking, I'm actually starting to bump into people in the community that are telling the story back to me in the same words that I use to them.
Talk from the corporate angle?
Sure. I met Stacy and Tracy McLean at one of the golf tournaments back in 2009, and a discussion ensued about how we could strengthen the relationships that, you know, we have established, and maybe get to know a few more people throughout the hospital systems that are on the board. And that led to a meeting, and during the meeting they discussed some various ways that we could become a little bit more involved in the system, and sitting on the golf committees was one of the suggestions. So I began sitting on, I believe it was the Spring Classic first, and then the Fall Classic. And through the committee meetings, I got to meet a lot of the people that are involved in the hospital on a regular basis, which actually led to an introduction to John Bell. John Bell, as you all know, is Assistant Superintendent at the Port Jervis School District. Our firm happens to have a very solid portfolio in K-12 work. We're now working at the Port Jervis School District. We've completed 7 projects. We were also introduced to Dick McKeevy through Karen Dietz, who's no longer with Secours, but we're also now working with him. So it's been a huge success story for us, because we became involved, and as an extension, we're able to become more involved in the community, get to know more people, and really start to feel like a valued member and a trusted member of the community through word of mouth. So we view our relationship with Secours as just a complete success, and a lot of that is attributed to Stacy and Tracy's strategies, and as a result, we've become more involved in fundraising and attending events and participating on more of an involved and engaged level.
Suzanne?
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I've only been with Provident Bank and really in the marketplace for 2 years, but one of the early relationships that I was brought into was with Secours. And at Provident, we're a community bank, and community is one of our brand values, and we have a concerted effort to make sure that we're investing in the community. George Strait always says, as our CEO, that what's good for the community is good for Provident Bank. So it's a very important initiative for us to do that. And our relationship with Secours is really for our brand, which is a strong, well-known brand in the marketplace. There's a great overlap in terms of geographic coverage. Our primary markets are in Rockland and Orange County. Of course, we're in Westchester as well. But so there's an overlap of working in the same community and serving the same customers with different needs. There's also the networking opportunities it gives for our senior leaders to be on the board, to participate in these events that you draw so many people to that are potentially other partners of ours or customers of ours or important members of the community. So in this way, we've been able to benefit from that connectivity and being such a visible part of what's going on. I know this creates me, and I'm not really, they don't really let me do the banking stuff. The customers, your money is safe. They don't let me touch it. But I do know that some opportunities have come up where there's been a large donor that could be helped by a local attorney who could then subsequently be helped by our investment arm and able to facilitate that. If those relationships weren't there, it would have been difficult to bring those people together. And so for our organization, that's really where the value is. Now, the other thing that's important to note is that every organization is different. Our organization, I spoke about some of the things that were in place. You've got different types of organizations. If they're smaller, if they're newer to the community, depending on what kind of business they're in, and we're a bank, that's sort of an important factor, and how important community is to them as a brand and to their organization. Another thing I'll tell you is, like for Provident Bank, for example, we have sort of 3 kind of different places that we would spend. So when you look at opportunities for us to invest, we have and spend money on marketing opportunities that are very cut and dry, media, direct, it's a numbers game. And those investments are not the same as investments we might make into the community. They're not calculated the same way, and so you have to be careful about comparisons there. And then we also have a foundation, and the foundation is a completely separate organization. In fact, it's bifurcated on purpose legally, and their objectives in granting funds is to have a measurable impact in the community from some set parameters. So it's important to know the different areas in a company, particularly when you start to look at larger companies that might have several funding sources, to really understand how to pitch what you want. Coming to market, I always tell people, we're not warm and fuzzy. Like, I work in spreadsheets more than anything. And coming to marketing people, and the whole pitch is how great what you do is. It is great. In fact, I've yet to have anybody pitch for funding that had something horrible that you would never want to happen in your community. The Let's Club Some Baby Seals organization has never come to me for money. And so what really ends up being important is, what are the values that can be brought so that there can be a pairing between the investment and the return. And some of it can be soft. As I mentioned, in our particular case, relationships and connectivity is important. It's not true for every organization, but that's where we are. And so those are the things that motivate us.